Hey, you already know better pull up, man. It's going down. Starting right now. We in this bitch taking shots, just chilling, dog. You know what I'm saying? Bro. Nigga, we in this bitch. We chilling. Where we all at?
All right, we do have news this morning. Detroit police confirmed a deadly quadruple stabbing.
Yeah, 2 people were killed. One is in critical condition and the other is stable. This all happened near Gritsdale East and Fleming Street. We're told an argument started over a woman at a pool party and a man stabbed 4 people there.
The summer air hangs heavy with the scent of chlorine and barbecue, laughter echoing across a suburban backyard, a pool party in full swing, friends splashing, music pulsing, the promise of a carefree day. But in an instant, that joy shatters. A scream pierces the air. Blood stains the concrete. 2 lives are lost, and a community is left reeling. What turned a celebration into a nightmare? How did a young man, fresh from a month of freedom, become entangled in a deadly act? And why did a gathering of friends end with 2 grieving families, their daughters left without parents? Welcome to Dark Truth Files, where we unravel the haunting stories that linger in the shadows. Today, we dive into the heartbreaking case of Hussain, Karie, and Tisha P., 2 vibrant souls whose lives were cut short at a pool party in the summer of 2025. This is a story of love, loss, and the devastating consequences of a moment's chaos. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your location in the comments below, and let's start a conversation about this case. What do you think drives someone to such a tragic act? Stay with us as we uncover the dark truth behind that fateful day.
It's my mama. Where the fuck is her wig at?
Why y'all do her like that? Who is she? Who are we? Listen, first of all, today's news on Detroit.
On today's news on Detroit East Side. Look at him recording.
I promise
Hussain, Karie was the kind of person who lit up any room, or in this case, any backyard. At 31, he was a man who wore his heart on his sleeve, known for his infectious laugh and boundless generosity. Born and raised in Macomb County, Hussain was a pillar in his tight-knit community. His family described him as a dreamer, someone who always had a plan to bring people together. Whether it was hosting barbecues, organizing local charity drives, or simply checking on a neighbor, Hussain lived for connection. He was a devoted father to his young daughter, Amira, who was just starting to show her own spark of charisma. Friends recall how Hussain would light up when talking about Amira's latest antics, her love for drawing, her insistence on picking out her own outfits, the way she'd giggle when he spun her around in the pool. He was her hero, his sister said in a statement to reporters. Everything he did was for her. Hussain worked long hours as a mechanic, his hands always stained with grease, but he never complained. To him, every overtime shift was a step toward giving Amira a better future. Hussain's home was a hub for friends and family. His backyard, with its modest above-ground pool and string lights, was where memories were made. He'd spent weeks planning the pool party that summer, excited to celebrate with his closest friends. It was meant to be a day of joy, a chance to escape the grind and bask in the warmth of community. Little did he know it would be his last. Tisha P., 25, was a force of nature. With her quick wit and radiant smile, she could make anyone feel like they'd known her forever. A native of Detroit, Tisha had moved to Macomb County to build a new life for herself and her daughter, Kiana. She was a single mother who poured every ounce of her energy into giving Kiana the world. Tisha worked as a hairstylist, her salon chair confessional where clients became friends. She had this gift, one client told news outlets. You'd sit down for a trim, and by the end, you were spilling your life story. Tisha's love for Kiana was fierce. She'd post photos of them together online. Matching outfits, ice cream dates, late-night dance parties in their living room. Kiana, with her mother's bright eyes, was Tisha's pride and joy. Despite the challenges of balancing work and motherhood, Tisha never let her struggles dim her light. She was saving up to take Kiana to Disney World, a dream she'd whisper about during bedtime stories on the day of the pool party. Tisha arrived with her boyfriend, excited for a rare day off. She brought a homemade peach cobbler, a recipe passed down from her grandmother, and was ready to relax. Friends described her laughter that day, how she splashed in the pool and teased Hussain about his playlist. Tisha and Hussain weren't close friends, but their shared love for their daughters created an instant bond. Neither could have imagined the tragedy that awaited. Macomb County in 2025 was a place of contrasts. Suburban sprawl dotted with parks and pools, but also pockets of tension, where economic struggles and social divides simmered. Hussain and Tisha represented the best of their community, hard-working, family-oriented, and resilient. Their lives weren't perfect, but they were full of love. As we move forward, picture them in that backyard. Hussain tossing a beach ball, Tisha sharing her cobbler, their daughter's future stretching out like the summer horizon. What could have torn this scene apart? It's early August 2025, and the sun blazes over Macomb County, Michigan. Hussain Karie's backyard is alive with the sounds of summer. The pool sparkles under the midday light. It's the kind of day that feels endless, where time slows and worries fade. Hussain is in his element, flipping burgers on the grill, joking with friends about who can make the biggest splash. Tisha P., in a bright yellow sundress, chats with a group of women near the picnic table, her laughter carrying over the music. Her boyfriend, a quiet man in his late 20s, sticks close, sipping a soda. About 20 people are scattered across the yard. Friends, neighbors, a few plus ones. Among them is Daiwan Lemony Hobson, known as One, a 31-year-old friend of Hussain's who'd been back in town for just a month. By late afternoon, the mood is still light, but the heat and alcohol start to take their toll. Around 4 p.m., a disagreement flares near the pool. According to witnesses later interviewed by investigators, it begins with a heated exchange between Tisha, Hussain's mother, and a few other women. The details are murky. Some say it was about a spilled drink. Others mention a long simmering grudge. Voices rise, drawing attention. Hussain steps in, trying to calm things down, his voice steady but firm. "Let's keep it chill, y'all," he says, raising his hands. Tisha, caught in the middle, tries to defuse the situation, but the argument escalates. Her boyfriend pulls her back, but the tension spreads like wildfire. A crowd gathers. Phones come out, and suddenly, the party feels like a pressure cooker. Daiwan Hobson, who'd been quiet most of the day, is now near the center of the chaos. Witnesses describe him as agitated, his eyes darting between the arguing women. At approximately 4:30 p.m., the situation explodes. In the blur of shouts and shoves, Daiwan pulls a knife. The blade catches the sunlight, a glint that freezes time. Before anyone can react, he lashes out. Tisha, standing closest, takes the first strike. She stumbles, clutching her side, blood seeping through her dress. Hussain, rushing to intervene, is next. The knife finds him, and he collapses near the pool's edge. Screams erupt. Guests scatter, some diving for cover, others frozen in shock. Two others, a man and a woman, are injured in the melee, their wounds less severe but still serious. The scene is chaos. Blood pools on the concrete, mixing with spilled drinks. Someone calls 911, their voice trembling. "We need help. There's been a stabbing." Within minutes, sirens wail in the distance, but for Hussain and Tisha, it's too late. Paramedics arrive to find them unresponsive. They're rushed to a nearby hospital, where both are pronounced dead. The two others are treated for non-life-threatening injuries. As police secure the scene, Daiwan is apprehended, still holding the knife. His face is blank, witnesses say, as if he's as stunned as everyone else. The backyard, once a haven, is now a crime scene. Yellow tape cordoning off the pool, officers collecting evidence, guests giving tearful statements. The community is left grappling with a single question. How did this happen?
For these last couple of days, we've had just this rash of violence that's just unexplainable. This, again, is one of those incidents. We've had 4 people who were stabbed because someone said something or someone may have touched somebody. And that is not...
Daiwan Lemony Hobson, 31, known as One, was no stranger to Macomb County. Born in Detroit, he'd grown up in a world of challenges, poverty, fractured family ties, and brushes with the law. By 2025, he was a man trying to start over. According to court records, Daiwan had been released from custody just a month before the pool party, after serving time for a prior offense. He'd returned to his community hoping for a fresh start, reconnecting with old friends like Hussain. Daiwan was tall, with quiet demeanor that could shift to intense in an instant. Friends described him as loyal but guarded, someone who kept his struggles private. His tattoos, roses, a heart, the word grind hard, told a story of resilience and loss. But what drove him to violence that day? Investigators initially pointed to the chaos of the argument, suggesting Daiwan acted in a moment of rage. Yet, questions lingered. Why target Tisha, a woman he barely knew? And why turn on Hussain, his friend? The police report painted a picture of spontaneous act, but online discussions and witness accounts suggested deeper currents. Some speculated a personal grudge. Perhaps Daiwan felt disrespected during the argument, a spark igniting old wounds. Others pointed to his recent release, theorizing the stress of reintegrating into society played a role. Macomb County social dynamics, where tensions over class and race sometimes simmered, added another layer. Was this a clash fueled by unspoken divides? Investigators explored whether Daiwan's prior legal troubles hinted at a pattern. In 2022, he'd been convicted of assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder, sentenced to 1 year 9 months to 10 years. The offense, also in Macomb County, suggested a history of volatility. But friends insisted Daiwan wasn't a bad guy, just someone caught in a cycle of hardship. He was trying to change, one friend told reporters. That day, something just snapped. Early reports muddied the waters. Some witnesses claimed Tisha's boyfriend was the aggressor, escalating the fight before Daiwan intervened. Others said Hussain's mother, a respected figure, had been targeted in the argument, pushing Daiwan to defend her. These accounts didn't align, and police struggled to separate fact from emotion. The knife itself became a point of contention. Was it Daiwan's, or did he grab it from the picnic table? No clear motive emerged, leaving investigators and the public grasping for answers. The community's reaction added complexity. Online forums buzzed with theories, from gang ties to a love triangle, but none held up under scrutiny. The lack of clarity fueled speculation, with some painting Daiwan as a villain, others as a man overwhelmed by circumstance. As the case unfolded, one question loomed. Was this a crime of passion or something more calculated? Days after the tragedy, as Macomb County mourned, investigators uncovered a bombshell. A video from a guest phone, recorded moments before the stabbings. The footage, shaky but clear, showed Daiwan arguing with Tisha's boyfriend just before the women's fight escalated. Words were exchanged, heated, personal. The audio was faint, but one phrase stood out. "You don't know what I've been through." Was Daiwan carrying a deeper grievance, one tied to his past or his brief time back in community? The video shifted the investigation. Police began exploring whether Daiwan's actions were premeditated, perhaps triggered by a prior conflict with Tisha's boyfriend. Forensic analysis of the knife revealed only Daiwan's fingerprints, ruling out the theory that it was a spontaneous grab. This raised chilling questions. Did Daiwan bring the weapon with intent? Was the argument a catalyst for something he'd been planning? The video leaked online, sparking a firestorm. News outlets covered the case relentlessly, with headlines like "Pool Party Tragedy Rocks Michigan" and "Father's Deadly Outburst Leaves Two Dead." Social media erupted, with users dissecting every frame of the footage. Some called Daiwan a monster, pointing to his criminal record. Others urged caution, noting the video didn't show the full context. "We don't know what set him off," one commenter wrote. "This is bigger than one bad day." The media frenzy amplified the pain for Hussain and Tisha's families. Amira and Kiana, now in the care of relatives, became symbols of the case's heartbreak. Community vigils drew hundreds, with candles lining Hussain Street. But the attention also brought pressure. Reporters camped outside the victims' homes, and online sleuths dug into Daiwan's past, unearthing old mugshots and fueling speculation. The investigation faced hurdles. Witnesses gave conflicting timelines, some clouded by alcohol or trauma. The two surviving victims couldn't agree on who struck first. Forensic reports confirmed Tisha and Hussain died from multiple stab wounds, but the sequence of events remained unclear. Police interviewed Daiwan, who claimed he blacked out during the incident, a statement met with skepticism. He knew what he was doing, one detective told reporters. Though no formal charges have been announced by late August 2025, the case also exposed systemic issues. Macomb County strained police resources meant delays in processing evidence, frustrating families seeking answers. Community leaders called for better mental health support, noting Daiwan's struggles post-release. This could have been prevented. A local pastor said at a vigil, "We failed him and we failed them." As of August 12, 2025, the case remains open, with Daiwan Lemony Hobson in custody, awaiting trial. Prosecutors are weighing charges of first-degree murder, given the video evidence and forensic findings. However, Daiwan's defense argues diminished capacity, citing his emotional state and recent release from prison. The surviving victims have recovered, but their testimonies may prove pivotal. The community waits, divided. Some demand justice for Hussain and Tisha. Others grapple with Daiwan's own struggles. Unresolved questions haunt the case. What sparked the argument that day? Was Daiwan's act a moment of rage or a calculated response? And how will Amira and Kiana heal from the loss of their parents? The trial, expected in late 2025, may bring clarity, but for now, the wounds are fresh. Hussain, Karie, and Tisha P. were more than victims. They were parents, friends, dreamers. Hussain's laughter and Tisha's warmth touched everyone they met. Their daughters, Amira and Kiana, carry their legacy, a reminder of the love that defined their lives. As we honor them, we send our deepest condolences to their families, who face an unimaginable void. This case reminds us how quickly joy can turn to tragedy, how one moment can ripple through a community. Macomb County is healing, but the scars remain. Let's keep Hussain and Tisha's memory alive by advocating for justice and support for their daughters. What do you think happened that day in Hussain's backyard? Was a moment of chaos or something deeper? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe to Dark Truth Files for more stories that uncover the truth. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep seeking justice.